Ooh, it's Halloween on episode 25 of the Indie Game Riot. Indie Game Riot! Hey everybody, it's JaShinYa, and this is episode 25 of the Indie Game Riot. That's right, we are a quarter of a century old, and by that, that's more like 25 weeks, or give or take, a couple of weeks.
Holy shit, do you realize that is almost 6 months now?
Yeah.
It's great.
And we're talking about, how many weeks in a year? 52?
Yeah.
Something like that. So, I mean, we're like halfway through the year, pretty much. Well, not quite, one more. But, that's longevity right there for when you talk about when you talk about like all the podcasts are out there. And I know not even just indie game podcasts, not even video game podcasts, all the podcasts out there. How many of them just drop before they even hit double digits? Really,
most of them.
Exactly, most of them.
My last podcast made it to episode 13.
How many episodes did VA Radio get to?
We were up there actually.
I think it was probably like 30 or something.
We were getting close to 40.
Yeah, we were.
But we are planning on taking it far away than that. And yes, this is our Halloween episode. So I hope you are in store for more Halloween tropes and cliches like the intro. Because blue.
Did you like that jump scare?
Because we got plenty of those coming around to you. But
think
first,
that a podcast would scare you with jump scares.
that's how scary this shit is. But first, how are things going with you guys?
Well, Rev has a cool story, so I'm going to let him talk later.
And wait, just one thing. Hold on. Let me just preface this by saying I'm sorry ahead of time if I hack. I'm trying to turn away. I'm getting over a flu.
Yeah,
and,
Josh is...
I got caught.
So
He had Ebola!
except he didn't.
Just no, I did. Now everyone feels sorry.
Yeah. Oh, darn it. So
An unconfirmed case.
Yeah.
I don't need the CDC knocking down my door.
So I had a very non-eventful week this week. I basically just waited for this new job to send me in. And for those of you who know my name in real life, which has like 2 letters repeated, it's ridiculous. It's French. Don't blame me. So it's hard to look at. You hear my name said and you see it spelled and you're like, that's not you. So I call in and Calvin answers the phone. He's like,
I call in and call
I'm
in.
like, hey, am I on the schedule? And he looks and he's like, nah, I don't see you. All right, bye. Click. And so I'm like, guess I'm not on the schedule this week. That's kind of weird. So I take my girlfriend to work because we work in the same place now. And she calls me while I'm driving home. And she's like, you work when? 5 minutes ago. Crap. So I rush home, get dressed, put deodorant on. I was not expecting to work that day. Rush back in, sign in. And then there's the story that I heard was everybody knows that after Calvin answered the phone, he looked back, saw my name and went, oh, crap. He is scheduled this week. And Halloween being today, it's our busiest day of the year, surprisingly. So
I would have sworn it would have been like Super Bowl or Thanksgiving.
No, it's not as big as the Super Bowl.
I said Super Bowl, yeah.
The day before Thanksgiving is really bad.
Thanksgiving?
Are
you kidding me? You know how many lazy fucks there are out there that can't get them? Like, I have ordered Domino's pizza on Thanksgiving.
Merry birth, Miss Pilgrims.
Yes. But I also like the cool thing that I did was one of the lights the only light in my room broke. It was like a stand-up floor light, and all the switches weren't working. So I decided, screw this. I have an outlet up top and a little remote switch that I can turn the outlet on and off. And so I hung Christmas lights all in my room, and it is the coziest thing in the world. And coming up to winter, it's like the best. It's the little things sometimes.
totally not envious because
of course, it's kind of a fire hazard, but probably not as much of a fire hazard as Rev had to deal with today.
Yeah, nice segue. So, tech. Sorry, 1 second.
Okay, well,
shut up, you bastards.
The reason why it's a fire hazard is because I have halogen. They're not. I don't know. Normal incandescent Christmas lights hanging over one of my curtains.
You have the ones that turn 100 million degrees.
They don't actually get that hot. They're the tiny ones.
So there's those little ones that you touch. You're oh, the bulb's loose or something. You touch it. It burns your fingers off.
They're not those.
Burns on your fingertips.
Are the incandescents? Does anyone call them incandescents anymore?
I just call them Christmas lights.
And the other half are the LED strips, like the industrial bright jiggers. And I have a switch that I can hold. I'm holding it right now. I'm flipping the lights on and off.
ADD at its finest.
Yeah. So, Rev.
Tech tonight, I received a text because I put out a tweet and was like, hey, I'm running a bit late. I got to go put out a proverbial fire. That proverbial fire then became a literal fire. So I'm going on site to we had a PoE switch that had developed a fault. So we RMA'd it, and I haven't had time to go over after hours to install it because I've just been so wiped out by the time I get done with shift. It's like, screw it, I'm going to go home and sleep. And so I was sitting there and it was like, okay, I'll swing by real quick and we'll get this taken care of. I get on site. I am in the process of mapping out okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And all of a sudden, the switch that we were going to be replacing, it was the old one and the replacement had the PoE fault. And so we RMA'd that one. The old one had a bad fan. And as I'm sitting there, it suddenly goes poof and flames and smoke. And it was oh shit. So I'm ripping the power cable and then
By that you mean you were just running back and forth screaming at the top of your lungs.
In this little concrete room.
1-899-841-9-725-3.
Yeah, no, I thought about sending out an email to whom it may concern. No, that's too
far. Point. Fire! Exclamation point.
So yeah, that was fun. Fortunately, we happened to have a backup switch that was there because when I plugged in, so we ripped that one out. That was cool. Had to replace a couple of patch cables that may or may not have melted, and that was cool. So decide then that we're going to plug in the new switch since it's all pre-configured and ready to go. And hey, we might as well. So rack it up, plug everything in, turn on the power, and the entire network to the entire facility goes down. And it was all of a sudden the radios start going off. We're getting emailed alerts. I'm getting texts from people going, "What the hell did you do?" And
sirens are. I just imagine you in this one room by yourself. Sirens going off it's
signing packets.
Like a nuclear plant's just melting down. And you're like, oh my gosh.
It felt like it. So yeah, it was a bit of fun. So ripped that one back out and put in a different replacement that doesn't do what we need it to do. But I'm pretty sure I know what's wrong with the PoE switch that I was putting in. The one that didn't catch fire. Oh. No, the one that didn't catch fire. So yeah, that was my evening, and that's why we're so late tonight.
So it's good that you it's good that you caught the switch there, because if you hadn't been there, the whole place would have burned down.
Exactly.
That's just what was going to happen.
Yeah, it was fortuitous, but also a pain in the ass.
Could have been fortuitous for someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
For me.
So, how about you, Josh? What have you been up to?
Well, like I said, I've been getting over. I had a flu for 5 days, and then I got this cough that's just nagging me, and I'm trying to hold it back right now because I'm down coughing. It's driving me nuts. But other than that, yesterday was trick or treat in most towns around here, and I took my.
Why don't they do it on Halloween?
They usually do it on Thursdays, but I also think it has something to do with they feel people are more troublesome on the actual Halloween or something like that. I don't really know. But anyway, I took my kids trick-or-treating, and my daughter was Curious George, and my son was the man in yellow hat. And I have pictures on Facebook for those of you who know me personally.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're very cute, and
to Reddit.
they're very cute, and I stole only a little bit of their candy. So, well, her candy, because it's weird because he's 3 months old, but people were like handing him, like, not handing him, but they were like, here's something for the little boy, and it's like a freaking Tootsie Pop, like he's gonna gum that thing down.
How many gums does it take to get to the center?
Probably, he'll probably choke first.
That reminds me. I saw my girlfriend watched this video called "Man vs. Pin," where this guy is like, "Hey, Pinterest things. Let's see if they work." And it's like, coat an apple in melted down Jolly Ranchers, and it'll look cool and it'll be delicious. And he does it and he tries to bite into it. And he's like, "This isn't happening. This is as solid as a rock."
That just sounds stupid.
Yeah.
Makes more of an ornament. But anyway.
Yeah, but you know what isn't stupid?
The news injection.
Are you bored with the same old games?
Yeah.
Why, then give yourself an indie news injection.
Thanks, Indie Games.
And this week on Indie News Injection, first up, we have another convention that we're thinking, or at least I am thinking, and maybe Tech as well, about going to and repping Indie Game Riot at, is MAGFest. Have you guys heard of this yet?
I think a lot of people have heard of this.
Yeah? Short for Music and Gaming Festival. It's 4 days long, dedicated to the appreciation of video game music and gaming of all types. And there's a really heavy indie game presence there. Yeah, focus, you could say, even. And especially because I thought this was particularly interesting, just because we like to feature, like indie game musicians on our show and everything like that. And obviously the indie games that are going to be featured there. And they say it's not a convention, it's a festival. So excuse me. It's basically, they treat it like a party. And there's concerts going on by the video game musicians and everything like that constantly throughout the weekend. This year it's taking place in National Harbor, Maryland. Which,
for those of you who don't know where that is, it's south of D.C. for some reason.
Is it?
Yeah.
That is weird.
It is very. It's like next to Leesburg, but across the bridge.
Okay, so it's basically like going to Virginia then.
Yes, it's basically Virginia. It's south. Yeah,
it's
like an hour and a half away.
Well, anyway, you can excuse me. You can pre-register. Excuse me. I'm trying to hold back these coughs here. It's actually going to start January 23rd through the 26th, so it's actually not going to start for a few months yet, so you have plenty of time. You can pre-register, and
Josh, it's okay. You're okay.
I can't. I'm trying hard. I don't want to gross people out or burst people's eardrums.
Pre-register at $50.
Thank you.
The price goes up to $55 on Friday, October the 31st. So actually, no, the price is $55. You can also get some bonus swag for $115. You can get other badges for more money, or if you have a group of larger than 8, you can get in for $45 per person now. And if you like music, go.
And you can book hotels. We were talking about this earlier. You can book hotels through their website, and the hotel rates are like ridiculously cheap.
They're pretty cheap.
$15 a day. That's crazy. If I don't know if anyone listening here is involved with like any other press affiliations, but this does not have a press pass available.
Yes. That's because they don't have sponsors.
Right, they don't have sponsors, so they ask that everyone pays an entrance fee, so that way they can cover everything that needs to be covered.
Which, and to be fair, for a 4-day event that's $55 and everything be open is a really big deal, especially considering that you're getting 4 days of concerts, 4 days of indie games, other such game and music nonsense, and it's huge. MAGFest is huge.
Yeah, last year's they had 12,000 attendees.
That's a lot of people.
And this year they have, as far as like the guests that are going to be there, Smooth McGroove. If any of you are fans of him on YouTube, he does all those crazy acapellas of video game music. I'm doing the ones that I know.
Game Grumps is going to be there.
Yep, Game Grumps. So Ross O'Donovan, Barry Kramer, Danny Sexbang, and Aaron Eagle Raptor.
And Susie, because she's a...
and Susie. Yeah.
Aaron's a wife. It's whatever.
They're gonna be there as guests. As far as the musicians go, I don't know too many of these, but some of you out there who are big fans of like the video game musicians
heard of Power Glove.
Bit Brigade. I've heard of Bit Brigade.
Triforce Quartet.
Rare Candy. Super Guitar Brothers. Yeah, all that sort of stuff.
Nerdy musicians who are actually pretty talented. Check them out on YouTube.
Yu Miyake is a DJ.
Yeah, yes.
So it's going to be a fun time. I hope
Screw Attack's going to be there.
If anyone is going to be there that listens to the show, I hope to see you all there.
Get your picture taken.
Yeah, and I hope that maybe Tech and I can do a little bit of not only connections and reporting and everything like that, but you can get some kind of like how Rev did at IndieCade and get some footage.
They also have a lot of awesome arcade cabinets there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
God, I'm so jealous you guys are so close. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it.
Oh, no, we didn't get into IndieCade.
No.
The biggest indie convention.
So indie games, as far as these are the indie games that came in last year. Let me see here. Paranautical Activity, Hermit Crab in Space.
Paranautical Activity is another story for another show.
Black Like Me, Revenge of Ranch. I'm trying to see here. I'm skipping through some of these. Crystal Brawl.
Heard of that one.
Yeah, I'm trying to find ones.
Tech.
Yeah.
You need to fill out a Tabletop Space request form by January 8th, 2015 to have your request for Tabletop Space.
Ooh, I could do that. I could show Zaya.
Default
You
ban.
can email them at tabletop@magfest.org.
I'm going to do that. Hold on. I'm going to give myself a note. Tech, email MagFest about Tabletop Space.
I also just want to point out they have a cool little logo at the bottom for it's like on an old arcade machine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like in a Zelda style logo.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. So going from something that is scary awesome to just plain scary. Terror Engine Reborn 2.0 has launched, and if you have ever wanted to make your own horror games but haven't had quite the ability to learn code, or you're lazy, or you're not a very good 3D modeler, Terror Engine Reborn 2.0 has you covered. For a free download, you can play any Terror Engine game that you possibly can, and for $15 registered on their site, you can use that to make games, which is awesome because although it might not be quite to this level, the Unreal Engine is expensive. Unity is kind of expensive if you don't make any of your own models. And come on, like I showed this to my girlfriend when we heard about it, and she's just like, "Send me that link. I really want that."
Did you actually play any of the games?
I haven't played any of the games yet, but I have downloaded it and I have like messed with it, and it is pretty cool. And it also supports single and multiplayer, which is great. Full HD, 3D, 2D. Actually, I think it's only 3D. It is only 3D. If someone can figure out how to make this 2D.
I was gonna say 2D. It'd be interesting. They'd probably have to dig into the actual code to.
Yeah, probably. But it's definitely something if you have wanted, like we talked about Twine a few episodes back, where, we were getting ideas like, oh man, we should make a Twine game. That'd be really cool. We'll make it funny and, whatnot. And then this, plops down and it's like $15. You can, you have access to over 1,000 pre-built 3D models and, be able to make your own horror games. That's kind of awesome.
It is crazy, like with the availability of engines and just saying something like this just being $15, that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not like a subscription base, right? It's like flat out 15.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that
it's like a freemium. It's freemium is the way it's described. Yeah,
and but it's just crazy how easy it is to get access to making games now. It's exciting, but at the same time, you got to watch out because there's going to be a heavy what do you call them? Saturation. Thank you. Of horror in this particular situation of horror games and people who don't know how to. Because it's not just about coding, you also got to design the game.
Yeah. One thing that this is like sort of hearkening me back to is the days of click and play. And it's cool because, click and play was, / you could get it really easy. And it gave a lot of people the option to make really cool games. And a lot of people made really cool games. And you have RPG Maker that came out. And there are a lot of people who made really creative games with RPG Maker that aren't necessarily RPGs. And now you have a lot of these 3D engines that are being, pushed out that are very available to people who don't need to know a whole lot about games. So now, although they might not be as great as some, this is an indie game, but we've had thousands of dollars of, funding and lots of experience between this team. And, we were really good at this, but it gives people an option to tell a story that they may not have been able to do so otherwise.
Yeah.
And it's just like empowering community.
That's me right there.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of people that, don't have experience, we're going to segue to some people that have a ton of experience.
Yeah.
Ooh. Not as smooth as a segue. So we have tomorrow, November 1st, 2014, from 4 to 11 p.m. in San Francisco, California, 94103, Day of the Devs, hosted by Double Fine and I Am 8-Bit. So it is games, art, music, food, a bunch of game devs, and it's free. That's the big kicker. It is completely free. If you aren't able to attend, you can actually they're streaming it as well on Twitch, unfortunately. But Double Fine's channel, twitch.tv/Double Fine, will be streaming it 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific.
And as much as we yell at this, I'm just going to bring this up. But even though we always yell at Phil Fish, his music is being featured, and his music's pretty good. So, you've also got Dose One, Life Formed, David Conga, other
Disaster
people.
Piece.
Actually, a lot of the games that are going to be there are pretty big as far as indie games go. And I got to say, it's first of all, Costume Quest 2, I should probably just mention that off the top of my head here.
I saw that one in IndieGame.
Yeah, even though we're not featuring it, it is definitely a game to pay attention to if you haven't played the first Costume Quest by Double Fine. It's a really cool adventure game, Halloween themed and everything like that. Escape Goat 2 is going to be there.
What's really cool about
Luna? What?
Looking across the list of games, I'm going, I saw that one at IndieCade. I saw that one at IndieCade. I saw that one at IndieCade. I played that one.
So Day of the Devs for all you people in Los Angeles?
San Francisco.
I get them all mixed up. It's all
or nearby. If you're in LA, it's only like 7 hours away.
So if you missed IndieCade or you didn't want to pay the steep price to get everything at IndieCade, you can show up for free and see some of the awesome games at IndieCade that you may have missed.
And it's just like you're talking about Double Fine and I Am 8-Bit. They're people that understand,
kind of know what they're doing.
They kind of know what they're doing, and they understand indie game. Not that IndieCade doesn't. I mean, it's IndieCade, but they don't. They're not out there for a reputation of like they're not like here's the games.
You guys should buy these games.
Here's some things to sit down and listen to. They're like, let's freaking party because it's indie games, man.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like the Cheech and Chong of indie games. That's what you're talking about.
It's cool that they have both PlayStation and Xbox as sponsors.
Yeah, they're. I mean, look at that. They're talking about Unity, gaming Unity.
Exactly.
Cheech and Chong.
Humble Bundle is one of the sponsors. Like we love Humble Bundle.
Yeah, who doesn't love Humble?
Yeah, exactly. Who doesn't love Humble Bundle? So
Humble Bundle.
Definitely check Day of the Devs out.
You know what else?
What else is that?
You know what could happen at Day of the Devs?
What's that? A zombie invasion?
Close. I would say a riot. Starting a riot. And this week on Starting the Riot, the first spooky game of the show. I guess it is technically the first spooky game of the show. I don't know. Did we talk about it? I don't know. I'm lost already. Anyway, this one's called...
It's the first one tonight.
Silence of the Sleep. You play as a man called Jacob Reeves, a man who has lost his reason to live. He throws himself into a blackness to end his misery, but instead of it being the end, he wakes up without a memory of his life before. And basically, this is a very... if I can live through this...
Yeah.
This is a very moody, atmospheric, kind of, I guess you'd call it 2.5D, side-scroller adventure game. And you're basically running from the darkness. I would call it the darkness that's basically chasing you down because you killed yourself, and people don't like suicidal people, I guess. I don't know. At least in the afterlife, they don't. Apparently, that's what we've been taught in What a Dream May Come or whatever, something like that, right?
Yep.
That's the Robin Williams movie, which is ironic.
Oh, wow.
I didn't say that.
Too soon, Josh.
I didn't say that at all. There's puzzles to be solved. There's monsters to be hidden from. This is another one of those games where you don't have really anything to fight back with. Thank you. And it is currently on sale for 33% off. That's on November 3rd for $11.38. It's originally $16.99, and
on Steam.
The publisher developer is just goes by Jesse McConan. So it's a one-guy operation.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah,
it's the first game that he had on Steam. So
psychological horror is what they call it.
Yeah.
You know, as I was flipping through all of this, I'm getting a lot of similarities between a couple of other games that we've featured. The side scroller aspect seems to be very similar to The Fall. Mm-hmm. Way back on episode 11, and the thematic content and the everything else kind of reminds me of the game that I played just after IndieCade, the Never-Ending Nightmares.
Yeah. It also it sort of harkens me back to Bulb Boy as well.
Bulb Boy is a little bit
just art style.
I guess I can
that everything moves, like not necessarily like the caricatures of individuals, but like the way that the scenery is like played out and the way that you're interacting with, the world feels a lot like Bulb Boy.
Yeah,
and these are all games that are great. And while we say that this reminds us of a lot of games, it is definitely its own game.
No, it definitely is, and this is as indie as it gets. Like I said, one-man operation, and also, by the way, the music is fantastic. It's very atmospheric, and I don't know if you want to listen to horror music, to relax. If you do, I guess, okay.
If you do, he released the Silence of the Sleep soundtrack.
Yeah, he does. He released it. You can get that with the game and everything like that if you'd like. So that is there for you.
And I made sure to check to see if this actually was a one-man operation.
It is.
And the fact that it says, send me an email, definitely means that it's a one-man operation.
Well, it even says it on the Steam page, unless he's lying. It says one-man game, graphics, animation, coding, music, you name it.
Here's another thing. His Facebook page only has like 484 likes. Like, what's that?
This is a game that I put in. I mean, there's tons of scary indie games that would probably deserve a spot in Starting the Riot. But this game, excuse me, I put in because it's a game that has not received much attention.
And it's awesome. And
it's a great game. It deserves the attention. I particularly love the art in it. It's very I don't know I'm just trying to think of the word.
Like it matches sort of like silhouettes with very detailed scenery.
The silhouettes really pop out from the background scenery, because the background scenery is very intricate, but it's like it's hand drawn. The background
all looks so good.
Yeah,
and it's so
like I wouldn't want to live in this world, but it's
I'd
really
like to live in the suicidal purgatory where a monster chases me.
Yeah.
Any other questions or any other information I may have missed for Silence of the Sleep?
In general, it's highly recommended. The vast majority of people that have played it have all said it's great. You know, there's a couple that are like, whatever.
I think the people who didn't give it a good recommendation probably don't have very good patience.
Yeah.
Well, there's one that I was reading over earlier that kind of stuck out. He did have some valid. He had valid criticisms, but I think it's more the criticism stemmed from his own personal expectations. You know, he was talking about some design issues that he was having problems with, and
I think that my biggest issue, which isn't really more Rev's issue, it's only for Windows.
That's true. Yeah.
That's sort of what you find on Steam. Usually.
I think probably the hide mechanic is what I would think may have the most would be the most nuisance. Is that am I saying the right thing?
Yeah, sure.
Would be the biggest nuisance is what I'm trying to say. Just because of the whole 2D 2.5D aspect of it. So it's sometimes it's hard to tell where you are and that sort of stuff.
But to be fair, with games that are coming out now that are getting like critical acclaim that have similar, if not significantly worse, problems, and which people are ignoring, the fact that this is a small game and it's easy to nitpick small games with few developers, I mean, like this, it's a solid game, and it and this guy can make more stuff.
And like I said, this is a game that hasn't gotten a lot of notice, and that's what I really like putting on the shows are games that deserve more than what they're getting. So I could have put Costume Quest 2 in, but Double Fine has no problem getting notice in the indie game community. So I'm hoping we can help out Justin McConan so he can make even more awesome games. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm already adding it to my to my shopping cart. I won't be able to buy it yet, but
Yeah.
Good job, Jesse. And you know what is awesome?
Zombies,
and particularly zombies at peep shows.
Oh!
Please give all your attention to Early Access.
And this week on The Peep Show, we have a disgusting scene as the curtain draws back. There's a small group called the Indie Stone, working out of the UK and Canada. They released a game in the alpha stage called Project Zomboid. It is a Z game, as imagined, but it's a survival RPG. It's currently available on PC, Mac, and Linux. It basically the zombie hordes. You're trying to survive. It's a sandbox RPG, and it is still technically early access. It's still in its alpha build. They did do some crowdfunding for it, so good on them for making that. The game itself, like the art style, it's an isometric, and it changes in the depth of view. So you get some fairly large or fairly widescreen type view, and then it can suck down into action where I'm shooting zombies. You can team up on user created servers, so it is multiplayer. You're scavenging for stuff, and you have to just survive. They also provide modding support, so for all of you that like to fuck over all of your friends by facing them with insurmountable odds and puzzles and stuff like that, that is in the process of being worked on.
And before I get to another feature of this game, I also want to mention that this game is very hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say the thing that they say in this game is that there is no winning. You will die. It's just a matter of how long until.
Yeah, and it gets hard. From my understanding, it gets harder the longer you play.
Right. Eventually, a few days, the electric will go out, or the water. One of them goes out first, and then eventually the other one. So the utilities will go out. You have to, craft. There's a crafting system.
Yeah. There's a crafting system. There's a building system.
There's a thing called Moodles. And hey, Evil-Dog's here. Hey, guy. Sorry, I didn't mean that. That's live stream talk right there. Anyway, Project Zomboid, and what was I saying? Oh, the Moodles. That's actually one of the challenging things. There's character traits. First of all, when you start the game, you can choose different, I guess, professions, you would call them. So, for instance, if you pick a construction worker, I believe there's you'll be strong and I guess you could say hardy. And then you can also choose. You can also give yourself strengths, but in order to balance out those strengths, you also have to give yourself weaknesses. So you could say you're also fast, but you might be nearsighted or something like that, so you can't see as far. So it's things like that. And then there's these things called Moodles. So if you're easily scared, that's one of your weaknesses. You'll get you'll be easily frightened and panicked, and you'll start to break down, and your psyche will start to break down. A lot of things play into it when you're playing the game. It makes it really, really challenging.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. One other thing that actually really attracts me to this, there is a demo available that currently it shows it's a little outdated. It does show the game as it was a year ago in a couple of hours, but it's available on Steam and Asura. So if you don't want to buy the alpha build, but want to kind of see what it was like back then and extrapolate from there, you can totally check that out. So yeah, Indie Stone, small team. I was looking into it. They really only have 5 people and some friends that are contributors. They that helped out here and there. But 5 folks from UK and Canada, and Spiffo the raccoon.
They used to have a demo, but I don't think they do anymore.
What? No, it says it right there.
Oh, demo, there it is. You can also
download the demo.
Because you don't see that anymore. The last game that I think I played before was BioShock 1.
No, I've played a couple of demos since.
Well, demos big oh hey, Steam, download this demo. I'm like, oh, okay.
The demo. I think the demo for this is actually because the full game. There's a sandbox mode, and then right now I think they currently have 2. I guess you would call them story modes.
Yeah.
And I think the demo will just take you into one of the story modes. And again, being an alpha, I don't think the story in itself is actually fully completed or written out or anything like that. So after a certain point, it's basically sandbox mode until you die. So
yeah, but definitely a fun, challenging game if you like sim games that put you in the seat of the person smashing the zombies. Also, so
survival crafting. That's what this is.
Yeah, exactly. Survival crafting. But not
story to come.
Yeah,
all for $15.
Yep.
It's worth it. Trust me. Yeah. I have the game. It's fantastic.
And they're pretty good on updating as well. It is not the same game as it was a year ago.
No, absolutely not. There were a lot of. It was really a year ago. I mean, I got it in 2012, and it was super buggy then and everything like that. And of course, again, that was early access, but it was super buggy and everything like that. But they constantly update it, and they're constantly listening to their community too. So.
That's really
yeah.
Cool. So
looks like they although they might not update all the time, they definitely keep you guys very interesting. Their last big update was October 13th. So definitely check it out.
They're active on Twitter, and they've got tons of ways to contact them. So,
all right,
Project Zomboid.
Cool. Project Zomboid. You know what's next?
The game that's free.
Free fun.
Nice segue.
Scary good segue. Smashing Pumpkins isn't just for the music lovers now. It is for the free game lovers of the internet. Yes, this week we are talking about Smash from Beyond.
Bravo.
Now, although I don't know if there's a story behind this or not, but you are given a conveyor belt of pumpkins, and you are told some of these pumpkins might be bad. Scan the specific ones. Oh, and there might be some evil ones that you either have to avoid or super smash.
Do America's duty. Save from terrorists. America.
And so this is as much a reflex management. I'll call it a reflex management game, and try to separate both eyes and focus on two different parts of the screen. Because you have to scan and you have to smash and you have to know when to do either, and it is punishing and it is tricky, and maybe I'm just bad at it, but I think it's really hard.
No, you are bad at it, but I am too, and it is because it's very hard.
Well, it's like training monkeys with you two, so I gotta say I'm amazingly bad.
Yeah. So. but the thing, the art in this game is awesome. Like, just look, it not only like. It throws me back to like old school Newgrounds games with like the sort of style that they are.
Well, you're talking. Evil-Dog has been on Newgrounds for a long time.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And so he has like that presence there already. It's kind of like he has a known style already established there. That's why when I found out he was coming out with the Halloween game, I was kind of expecting it because he did last year and everything like that. He most of his games are free and everything like that, by the way, with Lab of the Dead and Road of the Dead. That was before that and everything. He actually has some that are also on mobile, but they're all very similar in the art style. But I do have to say, like you said, that's actually what caught my eye first. Was I saw concept art of some of the mutated pumpkins for the game. I was like, holy
they're like
shit!
cutely evil.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like they're adorably demonic.
I'm actually playing it right now.
True. Oh, and actually, Evil-Dog. Just by the way, everyone, Evil-Dog is in our stream right now for the live stream. He
as is the artist.
Correction, yes. So, as is the artist, we should give full credit to SickDeathFiend. He's actually the one that does the art that we are recognizing. Yeah, bravo.
Yeah, good job.
And Evil-Dog does the coding, which we, of course. There is a style in that as well, actually, that you mentioned that as far as how smooth the game plays and everything like that.
Yeah, definitely. That thing that I wanted to bring up, regardless, is that it is with a lot of free games. Sometimes you might have some like looseness or slip in the controls. Even in some big games that happens, but everything is tight and concise and feels really good.
I played one. I did a Let's Play a year ago of what was that? Poltergifts. And talk about tight. There's a very nice hitbox on a lot of those. Not because we're broadcasting on hitbox, but there's a very nice hitbox on all those. Basically, toys are coming at you, and it's one of those. It's kind of like a tower defense game, wave games. What do you call it? But toys are coming at you, monsters and things like that, and you have to fend them off. And I enjoyed the fact that I didn't get frustrated at. I'm like, I swear to God, I'm clicking it.
Yeah,
and, it clicked when it needed to click.
So
once I realized that the scanner had a power limit and I needed to alternate, I started to get a little bit better at it, but I kind of missed that the first go round. It is also available on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. So if you don't want to play it in your browser, you can play it on I'm assuming your tablet or your phone. And I'm actually gonna go check it out on my phone right now. This will be the only game that has ever been installed on my phone. I'm doing it right now.
Wow, Evil-Dog just took Rev's phone cherry, I guess.
Yeah.
And he knows it.
This is smile.
You know what else he knows?
That it's the
the coughing time? All right. That means that it's the end of the show.
Thank you. The end of the show. So that was a free game. This is the end of the show, though. All good things have to come to an end. Don't be afraid, though. We will, of course, come back next week with episode 26. First of all, I would like to say that for those of you who donate to our IndieGoGo campaign, thank you so much. We really appreciate it and everything like that. Of course, the money, again, is going to go towards a new website for us, something that's more functional, everything like that. We'll get that figured out. And as far as like the perks that you guys get, they will be sent out to you as soon as we can figure out the most efficient way. But we will get them out.
You'll get emails.
We'll let you know. Yeah. And then for those of you listening,
Josh, I don't think we're broadcasting anymore.
Oh, son of a bitch!
I don't know.
It says we are.
I'm not getting.
Excuse
I'm
me.
getting stuff.
Well,
okay. Well,
we're ending
fine.
the show anyway. So, yeah, there you go.
We are.
So, for those of you listening on our live stream, we do have edited versions with bumpers, background music, and gameplay footage and everything like that. It's all edited and everything. But the background music, for those of you who are listening to the edited version, is by Evil-Dog. Because I'm going to use Evil-Dogs from Newgrounds.com. The Creative Commons, yeah.
Yeah.
Very talented musician. Just in time for
Let's hope he
Halloween.
doesn't yell at us for that.
Well, no, it's on the Creative Commons and everything like that.
Yeah.
So, Newgrounds is a very awesome place. And then, what else was I going to say? Oh, for those of you who are listening to the edited version, of course, we have a live stream that you can listen to almost every Friday, depending on, if nothing crazy happens. We try and start at 9 p.m. Eastern time. This week I got a little late because
there was a fire in a network room.
Rev's work fire and everything like that.
Rev caught fire. I was on fire.
Yeah, and I don't know, fire.
Yeah.
It's bad things all around. But we got it started and everything like that. And if you'd like to contact, by the way, if you are an indie game musician or indie game video game musician or an indie game developer, anything like that, or if you know anyone who is, please let us know. Contact us in any way possible because we could feature you on the show. You never know. You can contact us by going to twitter.com. Our handle is @IGR Facebook.com/IGR Podcast. We have a subreddit. It's reddit.com/r/Indie Game Riot. And our email for now is JaShinYaGaming@gmail.com.
Brought to you by Domino's.
Brought to you by Domino's. Thank you.
Even though I work at Pizza Hut.
And we'll get our website up and running
As soon as possible.
But for now, you can just watch all the previous episodes on youtube.com/JaShinYaGaming. So, any last words?
Reddit?
I did. Thank you.
Did we spook you this episode?
Was
did
it
everyone have a fun
scary?
Halloween?
Oh.
I was honestly expecting, I've got the lights in my living room all turned on and the blinds are open, so you would think that, somebody would come knock on the door. I was hoping so that I could just, mute the microphone, kick open the door, and be like, I've got nothing for you!
Quick, go outside, get some rocks. Charlie Brown some kids.
That sounds like you're just going to kill some kids with rocks.
That sounds so bad.
Anyway, say goodbye.
Ooh, goodbye.
Ooh.
Happy Halloween!
Ooh, doo-doo.
Zombie meth.
Zombie meth.
Literally, this guy, who's a scientist who makes meth for people, literally had a bad batch. A guy steals it, smokes up, a hooker steals it from him, gets all of her hooker friends to do it, become zombies, and just start eating people.
Someone should change Breaking Bad. Now.
Yeah. I can't make this up.